Perfect. So let's slowly make a start. Again, a big welcome to everyone here for joining another episode in this Language Teaching Takeoff Webinar series, where we focus on making the most of the powerful tools available in the TeacherMatic Language Teaching Edition. My name is Jada, and I worked in the language education sector for 7 years. And now I'm part of the Avalanche team, where we focus on making the most of these tools that really support teachers and make a difference in the classroom. And today's we have Nik Peachey joining us as the host of the webinar. We're very happy to have you here, Nik. So thank you for joining. Nik,
Thanks.
Thank you. Nik will present a new interactive and free resource for language teachers, the CEFR Alignment for Teachers course, developed in collaboration with NILE, but it will also showcase how teachers can achieve CEFR alignment within TeacherMatic. And just a quick intro about Nik. Nik is an award-winning author, educator, and NetTech consultant with more than 30 years of experience in language education, and is especially passionate about using new technologies, AI, to support teachers and learners. And before we begin, as always, just a few practical notes. You're welcome to submit all the questions that you have using the chat that I've seen you already started using, which is great. And we'll aim to address as many questions as possible towards the end of the session. And also, the webinar is being recorded, and the recording will be shared via email next week after the event. And with that, we can make a start as we have a lot to talk about. So over to you, Nik, and thanks again for joining us all today.
Hi, great. Thanks for the introduction, and thank you to everyone for coming along. It's great to see so many people here and from such a wide variety of places as well. What would be really useful, I know that lots of people are already introducing themselves and they're putting their location in, but it'd be really useful to know what your job role is as well. You know, whether you're a teacher, whether you're an administrator, teacher trainer, or what your role is within your institution and the kind of levels that you teach, whether you're teaching kids or whether you're teaching adults, tertiary, whichever level that is. That can help me kind of tailor a little bit and adapt a little bit to what you should be interested in. Okay. While you do that, I'll see if I can get my presentation to launch. Okay, and it's up there. Let's see if I can get it to go to full screen now. Okay, full screen. Okay, hopefully you can still see it and you can still see me.
Yes, we can, Nik.
And great, good. And I'll get my chat open just in case. Great, good. Okay. Okay, so this session, as Jada said, is on making informed decisions with CEFR alignment. And let's just flick on a bit. What I'll be looking at basically is a quick introduction, which I'm doing now. I'll be showing you a course which you can take for free, which is based on helping you understand and align different levels within the CEFR framework. It's an interactive course that's built on Avalanche Magnet, so it's mobile friendly as well. I'll be showing you some bits like that are viewed on the computer screen, but if you prefer to do it on your mobile device, it functions in the same way on the mobile screen as well. Once we've gone through the course, had a quick look at the course and some images, I'll also show you some bits of TeacherMatic and how the CEFR is applied within the generators, the AI generators there, and how they can help you. Okay, and then we can have some Q&A. Okay, just as also a bit of background, I've been working with TeacherMatic for quite some time now, mostly on sort of helping them initially make the move from being a general education product from being a language teaching specific product. So there are two different flavors of TeacherMatic now. So there is one that's designed specifically to help language teachers, and a lot of that was based around, you know, aligning the AI generators to the CEFR framework. Probably you'll know if you've ever used something like ChatGPT or DeepSeek or something like that. When you go and try and produce something and you ask it for a specific level within the Common European Framework of Reference, often it misses and it's not really that close. Whereas TeacherMatic has been programmed and had the generators developed and tweaked so that they do align as closely as possible to those kind of framework of reference descriptors. Anyway, I'll get on. So this is what the course looks like. Once you open it, you'll need to register. As I said, you need to give a little bit of information, but you can register for free. And before we get deeply into it, one of the things that it starts with and that you might find interesting is that actually there's a kind of quiz which tests the basics. So if you want to know whether this course is for you, it's worth having a look at these and thinking about how sure you are about the answers. Which ones do you think are true and which ones do you think are false? I'll give you a couple of minutes to have a look at that. Okay, and the big question is, how sure are you? Are you 100% certain that you know all those answers? If you're not, then this course could be for you. And I have to say that actually I'm not sure about all of them. I would show you the answers, but I think if you really want to know, you should go and do the course and find out, you know. So if you don't know, go and do the course, have a look, find out. Okay, so I don't know. If you want to type in the number of them that you're sure about, you can, but it's not that important. But I would recommend you know, if you're not sure, then okay, take the course. The course is structured into 5 stages, so it's quite easy to navigate, and you can jump about between the stages if you want to. If you want to miss out the introduction or just go to benchmarking or something like that, then you could do that. You know, you can hop about within it. Another thing that's worth sort of pointing out is that, you know, there is also, you know, a grade book there as well. So if you want to go and check how well you're doing and check what scores you have on each part of the course, you can go back and do that later if you need to. So that's a kind of handy part of the course too. So this is sort of typical example of the introduction preface part. Gives you sort of what is basically sort of information about the background to CEFR. I mean, I'm sure a lot of teachers who have been involved in teaching for quite some time probably already have, you know, some knowledge of that and will have some idea about it. But if you want the background, you can do it. If you don't want it, you can jump forward. The really interesting bits of the course is the, you know, actually, you know, familiarizing yourself with the scales and finding out about the different elements of the scales and how the different levels are described. And of course, if you've got any knowledge of CEFR, you know it's divided into different levels from A1 to C2, and those levels have descriptors across the 4 skills. What's nice is that more recently mediation has also been added as a 5th area. And I don't know if how many of you know what mediation is, but I think it's a really interesting area because it's the skill that learners have to develop to negotiate meaning when meaning is unclear. So it's a really important communication skill. So when somebody doesn't understand with what you're saying, how do you negotiate that? Or when you don't understand what someone's saying to you, how do you negotiate meaning there? And it's also sort of, there's also a measure for that skill, which is, I think, quite an important one. And that's a good thing to really look at. So So you can choose which ones of these you do, or you can sort of go straight. Maybe you are only interested in the speaking one and you can just do the speaking ones. Okay, so you choose which ones you do, and then you get some descriptors. And what you do is you get two descriptors. One is at the level that you chose, and then the second one, you have to decide whether it's above or below that level. You know, whether you think it's above, below, or at that level. And so you can have a look and read through those. And so there are a number of these descriptors that you assess and familiarize yourself with for each level. So what do you think about that one? We've got the top one, which is at the level, and is this other one above or below? Have a quick look, see what you think. If you want to type it, if you want to sort of be daring and type your answer into chat and sort of reveal for everyone your genius or your ignorance, then feel free to do so, but I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't guess. Okay, and then once you go to check your answers, it will show you and give you some feedback. So, you know, it's really useful to get the feedback and show, you know, what parts of it were important and what parts won't. And it says the descriptor was actually below that level. So if you thought below, now you wish you'd typed it in. Yeah. So, and that's basically what it does to familiarize yourself with these. You work through a number of descriptors and you compare them to other ones and see whether you think they're below or above the level. And that's a great way of sort of getting your head around these different descriptors and really understanding what defines their level. Once you've done that section, you can sort of go to the benchmarking section. And in this section, you sort of look at examples and you have to do of language and language activities and have to decide what level you think it is. And again, the language and language activities are split between those five areas of mediation, speaking, listening, writing, etc. So, and this works, and this is sort of a quick look at how that works. So the benchmarking process, again, you can choose what level you want to do. It doesn't include C2 because C2 is the highest level, and so the C levels are quite high. So it's more, it's not quite so relevant with those. And this is basically an example of what you get. So, for example, you've got your example activity there. It's a listening activity. We're told that it's B2, but what level of B2? So we've got to B2 plus or B1 plus. So where is it within that? And you can read it, you can look at the descriptors on the side, and then you have to choose which one it is. And again, you can check your answer, so it's all interactive. You can actually listen to the audio as well if you want to, which I think is great too. And then to get your feedback, you just click and then, you know, it tells you what's the correct answer, highlights the different areas, and gives you some kind of more detailed feedback. So you can work through those different exercises and get the different answers. There's a question about the pluses and the minuses, you know, and I think it is quite important. It's a good question actually, and I think it's become, you know, anybody who teaches students for any amount of time will realise that even within those bands, you know, within B2, there's somebody who's at the beginning of B2 and somebody who's at the end of B2, and obviously, you know, that's quite a big difference. So again, you know, it can help you to differentiate between, you know, where they are in terms of being at the beginning and being at the end, or being kind of in the middle of that process, you know. And I think that's important. So, and then once you've done your benchmarking, there's a kind of little self-assessment that you can do to see where you feel confident and where you don't feel so confident and where you need to go back again. So basically that's the the course and what the course looks like. Very useful, great thing to be able to do, especially if you're really involved in deep level testing and CFR teaching, and it's really important for your students. Then that's really good. How that's applied within TeacherMatic is something that I'll go into now. I did mention earlier that TeacherMatic has been programmed to be sensitive to these different levels. And TeacherMatic is a platform that has pre-programmed AI generators which can help you design work, design materials, design activities for your learners that are at these specific levels. And there's some that are particularly relevant for you if you're really sensitive about the levels of your students, and you need to go towards. Oh, sorry, I'm looking for my right tab. So this is what the site looks like live. Okay, and I've highlighted some of the really useful ones here, some of my favorites. There's one for creating text, one for checking the level, and one for adapting the level. So if I show you first how these applied when you create a text for your students. If you want to create a text and you specifically want it to be, say, at B2 level, you get to select your text type. So maybe I want a news article. And then you select the main topic of it. I'll go for something quite neutral like the Sustainable Development Goals. Number 4. And then you can select the level here of what you want the text to be. I'm going to go for quite a high level. I'll go for the highest level, and then I'll show you how we can maybe adapt it. You also have the option to put in your learner profile. Maybe you teach young learners or secondary level. As I'm going for C2, I'll go for adults. And then you can add in some optional supporting materials. Maybe you've already got a website that you want to combine in, or some other kinds of supporting materials. There are things like learner needs that you can also put in as well. You can define different types of learner needs that you might have within your classroom. Okay, and then the last one is just to click on Generate. And this will start to generate your text. Always have my fingers crossed at this point, hoping that something's going to come out, because you never know. And okay, so here is my text about Sustainable Development Goal number 4. A really nice thing that's quite important is that, obviously, AI doesn't always get things exactly as you want them first time. And so it's good to be able to refine that text as well if you want to. So you can, ask it to do different things, like if there were specific words or vocabulary you wanted included in it, you can type them in here and ask it to include those. Or you could say include a short dialogue. So I could ask it to include a short dialogue as well. Maybe I want an interview or something like that included in it. And you can ask it to refine it in that way. And again, my fingers crossed. And so here's my short dialogue that goes with it. Okay. And then I can export that or save the results. I can export it to different platforms or formats. I'm going to copy it just for now. Okay, I'll copy that. And again, if you were doing this for your students, you could just copy and paste it or download it as a Word document or something like that. And I'm going to go to adapt your content and just show you how you can adapt that for a different level. So again, I'm going to paste in a text because I've copy pasted it. I could be uploading it. So there's my text that I generated, posted in. And I could select it to a level, specific level. Okay, so if I generated that at C2, but for example, I might like the text, but think I want to use it with a different class now, have a good lesson plan about it. How about converting it to A2? Okay. Again, I can do the optional learner profile. I could do, okay, A2, it was C2 before for adults, now I'm doing it A2, and it's for secondary learners. Again, I can do those learning needs if I want to, but I'm going to click on generate, and we'll see if it takes it down to that level. Fingers crossed, short dialogue. Okay, and again, it's still at the same length, and you might want to refine it so that it's shorter for a lower level. But you can see most of the sentences now are much shorter sentences, much simpler vocabulary. So it has done some adaptations for that. And again, you can click on refine and do further adaptations if you want to. So that's a kind of useful tool. If you have your own, if you're writing your own text and you prefer to do your own, there is also a level checker which you can use, and you can sort of type in your own text and or copy paste it in and get it to check the level for you, which again is really useful if you've already got say exam scripts or different scripts that you're using for your teaching and you're not sure about the level. You find a lot of students are struggling for them. You can go and see and check the level there. So that's a kind of another useful tool. So there are also all examples of how you can use TeacherMatic to follow up once you've done the course and actually sort of apply that and generate materials for your students. Okay, if you want to give the course a try, there's a QR code for it here, and also the link is shown on the screen. And if you've registered, which you must have if you're in this webinar, you can be sent links to it as well. So I'm sure Joanna will send you a link for the course as well, and you can sign up.
Yes, but I'm also, sorry, Nick, I'm also dropping it in the chat now because there was someone that asked for it earlier. So I'm just sharing it there so you can have a quick look at it. Perfect, Nick. Thank you.
Next session.
Next session.
Yes. Segue into the next session, isn't it?
Yeah. We are already kind of there. So yeah, thank you for putting up the slide. So the next session is with Joanna Szoke. She's going to talk about IELTS exam, so the IELTS exam practice materials, and is on Thursday, 11th of June. And the timing is exactly the same. I'm just going to add the link in the chat so that everybody can already secure their place. But the webinar to register for this webinar will be included in the email that we send next week, together also with the link of the course. And in case you're interested in learning more about the Language Teaching Edition of TeacherMatic, and also sign up, we have a free version available if you want to try it out. So you can just follow the link that I just sent that will take you directly to the landing page where you can read more about this specific edition of TeacherMatic, how it was built, what are the features of it, and also how to access it if you want to try it out, or if you want to explore the pro version that we have available, or in case you are like a part of an institution, an organization, and you want to learn more, you can get in touch with our sales team to have like a tailored demo or specify what are your requirements for your organization. So I think with that, we can make an end to the session. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you very much, Nick, for your very insightful presentation. And we hope to see you again next time in the webinar that we have in June. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good afternoon, everyone.